everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Aubrielle, your host for Divine Love and Living, where we shift from living in lack to living in love. For today's video, I'd like to talk about tears. And I know that may not seem like a fun topic to go over. However, I think as you watch this video with me, you might see tears in a different light, which is going to be very, very helpful. So the lack perspective of tears tends to be that they're bad, that we don't like to cry, we don't like to sit in tears. We can also feel really uncomfortable being in the presence of someone else who's crying or deeply grieving. And a lot of that comes from the conditioning and the programming we've received around tears and crying. I mean, there's literally a song called, Big Girls Don't Cry, teaching boys, toughen up, don't cry. Maybe as kids, you heard things like, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about. There's just a lot of judgment around tears and why they're bad and why we shouldn't cry. And, it's better to be happy. And generally, when we do see someone in tears, the go-to is to try to fix it. Especially like with kids, when we see kids just throwing an all out fit and just crying, usually it's either discipline it, right? To change the behavior and stop them from crying, maybe giving them ultimatums. If you don't stop crying, I'll XYZ, or maybe if you don't stop crying, I'm going to put you in your room till you're done crying, whatever it may be. Or the other, option is to just dismiss it or try to cheer someone up. How often will you see someone crying and then someone else is like, oh, well, let me give you this and then you can be happy. Or, how about we go do this and then you'll feel better. It's like to actually sit and honor and really appreciate tears is not something our society, at least here in America, has been taught to do. So I would like to shift now into the lens of love through the eyes of abundance, where tears are actually an incredible gift. And the reason is because tears are an incredible tool for alchemy of energy, for transmutation of energy, to help us shift from a lower vibrational state to a higher vibrational state in a pretty gentle way compared to some other ways that the body will purge low vibrational energy, aka toxicity. So when we experience tears, we're not just experiencing emotional expression. Yes, we are experiencing that. What's also happening is that the innate intelligence that our body has is attempting to bring us back home to our truth, to a higher vibrational state of being. And the thing is when we experience trauma, and this is a very layman's terms, simplified explanation of the process of experiencing trauma, we'll experience something that's emotionally overwhelming in the moment, so overwhelming that we're not able to fully process the feeling then. And so that energy gets stuck. And instead of voluntarily going back to work with it, because a lot of us don't even realize the energy is stuck, especially when it happens in childhood, and we just really have no idea it's stuck, then that energy wants to move. Energy always wants to be in a flow state. So what happens is that the energy within our body will alert our mind to think thoughts, so that it'll help us try to feel that energy and move it, really just become aware of it. Generally, again, we're not aware that that's happening. And so then we start manifesting with that suppressed energy by thinking thoughts that we may not even be aware that we're thinking. Maybe we are, and we don't know that it matters. And then we're manifesting life experiences again to help us feel that stuck energy so it can move. Now, one way for that stuck energy to move is through tears. So when we cry, we're not just expressing how we feel. Oftentimes what we're doing is dissolving trauma within our body. We are processing energy so that we are not living with stuck and suppressed low vibrational energy in our bodies anymore. That energy is able to move. It's able to go back into a flow state and not keep us stuck in a feeling of dis-ease or discomfort within our state of being. And stuck energy is a lot of what dysregulates our nervous system, which then causes us to feel greater anxiety and just not easily feel like we can be at peace as a default, as a regular state of being. So another thing to consider about tears as to why we may naturally resist them and maybe not even fully know why we resist them so much is because when we have stuck energy, when we have low vibrational energy we're holding on to, we will attract other things that match that energy. So for us, that may be job experiences, it may be financial positions or experiences, it may be relationships with people, it may be living situations. It can be a number of things. And since our energy is always attracting the life experience that we have, when we shift our energy, when we shift into a new frequency, whatever was only in our life because it was attracted to and attached to that lower frequency will fall away. It's just the energetic laws of nature. It's just part of how life works here for us as humans. So sometimes we may be really resisting the tears because we don't realize that we're afraid of what we're going to lose if we let ourselves cry, if we let the energy move, if we choose to transmute that low vibe energy and let go and not carry that trauma in our energetic system anymore. So sometimes that may be why either we are not wanting to cry ourselves. It also may be why we're afraid and uncomfortable with someone else crying because we don't realize it, but we may be afraid if that means that they're now transmuting the energy that kept us in their life or kept us attached to them in a way that we want to be attached to them. We may be afraid that that attachment's going to fall away as a result. Now, keep in mind, attachment is all ego-based. We actually don't want to be attached to anything. When you're attached to nothing, you're connected to everything. When you're connected to everything, you are the love you're seeking in anything outside of you. You get to feel it from the inside out. It doesn't have to be dependent on or conditional to anything outside of you. You just get to wake up in the morning feeling incredible and feeling like all of the love that you are. And then the rest of the world gets to reflect that back to you. When you're in a state of attachment, you become dependent on the external source, whether it be a person, place, thing, to give you the love that you're seeking. And then when they don't, you're probably upset about it, or you're going to tell them what they need to change or do different, or how they need to show up differently, or maybe you're even telling them what they need to heal so that they can be a better source of love for you. And all of that is not true love. What true love is that connection. So we actually want to be alchemizing and shifting our energy into higher frequencies. In higher frequencies, disease also can attach. We won't experience disease like we can. In higher frequencies, we don't experience conflict like we generally do. There's a lot of our ego identities that fall away in higher frequencies, and that's where we get to experience a really incredible relationship with being human, and it's amazing. So the tears are actually helping us get there. They're helping us remember who we are and come home to our true selves. But it can make it uncomfortable, and it can be something that it's like a knee-jerk reaction to resist it simply because of those attachments that we may or may not be aware of, that we have, that we're holding on to. So these are all the reasons why tears are actually a gift. And children cry so easily because they're not afraid to cry. They're just naturally, they'll absorb energy and then they alchemize it. kids are generally not living in the same resistance that we learn to live with as we get older. And so maybe the next time you're with a child who's falling apart and crying, you can see their tears a little differently. Maybe the next time you're sitting with someone who's deeply grieving, you can see that their tears are helping them become free. Interestingly enough, a blocked heart, if you go into working with chakras, our energy centers within our body, a blocked heart chakra is actually blocked from being a broken heart that hasn't healed. So it's grief. It's not fear, resentment, bitterness. Yes, all those things can add to the walls around our heart. But what truly brings down those walls isn't a wrecking ball. It's the melting of the ice. It's the tears that flow, that allow our heart to reopen. And when you can trust yourself to grieve the loss of something that you were attached to, that really meant a lot to you, that you were very close with, that you didn't want to lose, when you can trust yourself to process losing things that are really close to you and matter to you, you stop fearing loss the same way. You stop living life being afraid to lose things because you trust yourself to be able to work through that if you did. And that's really what allows us to live with that open heart. We're not afraid to be vulnerable. We're not afraid to be seen. We're not afraid to be heard. We're not afraid to cry because we know those tears are beautiful. They're gifts. They're helping us. They're not hurting us. They're not doing something bad. And we don't have to be so uncomfortable with them. We can actually embrace them, appreciate them, accept them, allow them. Because tears are what help us remember who we are. Among many other things, tears tend to be one of the big ones. So hopefully this video was helpful to you. Hoping I was able to shed a new light on tears, why we cry, where they're coming from, what's really happening when we're crying, so that tears can become something we love, not something we resist and wish weren't there. So if you enjoyed watching this video, I invite you to give me a thumbs up at the bottom here of the video. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to check out my channel. I'd love to have you subscribe. The more activity that this channel will get, given that this is one of the videos I'm creating early on, hopefully more and more of this will get out to more and more people, and more people will be able to connect with it. And if you're working through something that maybe seems impossible, maybe seems really cloudy, and there may be a lot of fear of the unknown. Maybe you're not sure how to process the emotions that are coming up, especially sadness. I'm more than happy to talk with you about it. You can click the link below to book a clarity call. What we do in a clarity call is we do just that. We unlock doors of perception so you're able to see where you're at, what you're working with, and what's going on through the eyes of clarity, through the eyes of love, and not feel so stuck and not feel so scared of what may come next. Not be so afraid of the unknown. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you for the next video. Have a wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, wherever you are. Bye now.